cool. If you want to have like something act as a prosthetic in your game, this definitely does that. If if you just want to punch things and not be a monk, you can totally do that as well. If you want rocket powered fists, yeah, you got those, which is really cool.
And I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
I'm Nerdarchy Dave.
Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about Artificer. It is the newest of all the 5e D&D character classes. It is, in fact, the only one that was not introduced in the player's handbook.
That makes it stand out. It's the 13th class. It's not part of the SRD. So, it's got the, pardon the Artificer pun, but it's new and shiny.
And it went through a couple iterations before we got to its final form.
Right. All right, so what do you feel is like the experience, with, us playing the Artificer class?
I feel like our experiences have been very similar because we've both played the same type of Artificer.
Played the Battlesmith. I know, that was my first go-to. I'm not, super into, I need to have a pet that follows me around. For me, it was more like the mechanical advantages that it offered me. But I do like characters who have the ability to create things, and the Artificer is essentially the expert, the best at doing any of that kind of stuff.
They're a very jack of all trades kind of class. They have a weird spell progression, they get a lot of abilities, there's a lot of utility, and I went with it because I had a concept that I just wanted to play with, and I wanted to play a mounted combat kind of character, so being small, using the defender worked really well. And our critters are visually very different.
So you had essentially a giant metal kangaroo that you rode inside its pouch.
Yeah, and you've got something made out of bone and sinew and leather.
Yeah.
That has 6 legs, I think, and is basically a skeletal looking creature.
Yeah. So I made Critter, is what I called it. Critter, creature, something along those lines. That was essentially a bone creature. That's what my Artificer tended to work with. I went with a lizard folk because that's, the natural material or the things that they prefer. And there was no emotional attachment. It was just you're there to do things for me and whatnot. So I went with, let's put on the infusions that increased my armor and, take the spells that would allow me to shrug off attacks like shield. So it was entirely just you are built for combat. Do it. And I felt in that particular game I tanked really well.
I also kind of went with a similar build. Artemis Gluckenstein of the Tinker Knights is a gnome, and the idea is that he probably worked with others as well, in a cavalry of these Tinker Knights that had these contraptions. Although he had more affection and fondness for his defender Thomas, and so has the party. Also, I had him eat a parasite or a symbiote from Eberron that is kind of giving him some abilities and
cool,
and talks to him. So he may end up being the villain of the game anyway. But that's been a lot of fun. So we're gonna pick the 5 best infusions in the game for the Artificers. At least we think. There might be some other ones that are more specialized. But the ones that we liked is what we're picking on this one.
All right, so there's 16 Artificer infusions that, you can choose from. Some of them scale based on, tier of play. But before we dive into and, pick what we feel are the best 5 Artificer infusions, why don't we talk about something that we've done since it's, Artificers and they create something. What did we create, Dave?
You can infuse your games with the Mage Forge, which is 250 new magic items created by us, used by us in our games, our products, our live streams, and live plays, put on tarot-size cards that you can use in your game. They're color-coded, and they're marked so you can easily sort them, by rarity, and, you can pull them out randomly, or pick them, but they're going to add a ton of new magic items to your game. Right now, you can pre-order from Backer Kit. We'll put a link in the description of one of these cards up here as well.
All right, so what is our first Artificer Infusion that we have? These aren't in any particular order. These are the top 5 that we felt.
All right, so I picked this one because I am fond of it, and I think it's useful for most artificers, especially if you're an artificer that is going to have to rely on a backup weapon, or maybe it is your main weapon, and that is repeating shot. An item, a simple or martial weapon with ammunition property, requires attunement. The magic weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls when made with it, used to make a ranged attack, and ignores the loading property if it has it. If you load no ammunition in the weapon, it produces its own, automatically creating 1 piece of magic ammunition when you make a ranged attack with it. The ammunition created by this weapon vanishes the instant after it hits or misses its target. There's several cool things with this. The reason why my character took this was I'm playing a Curse of Strahd game. There's, spoilers maybe, there's a bunch of tombs in Castle Ravenloft that you can raid. One of them had a musket with silver balls, right? Shot that you could use. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But I'm like, oh, when it runs out, I'll be out. I'd be out. Except for I took this infusion, and now it is always loaded and ready to fire. But, even if you're just playing, one of the other types of artificers that doesn't necessarily have a ranged attack, you could use it on a crossbow, or if you're using firearms in your games, you could use it on those anyway as well. And anything that has the loading property, you get to ignore right now, and you never have to worry about ammunition. Fantastic.
So the last part of not having to worry about ammunition, I know that there are some DMs out there, some groups out there that they play, you got to track your stuff. And to me, that is one of the things that I've done it so many times. I got to sit here and make arrows, and if I don't tell the DM that I'm doing so, I'm not going to be able to have them for the next day's set of adventuring. It's annoyance. I understand that it's a part of the game, and if you enjoy it, that's fine. I no longer do, so this is fabulous. The other part that I think was the most important thing about that particular, item is the ammunition vanishes after it hits or misses. So 2 caveats. Number 1, if you roll a natural 1 on your attack, and sometimes DM say, oh, well, is there somebody else that's in range? Roll an attack roll on your buddy that's next to it. With this, not possible. It doesn't hit that guy, doesn't hit anybody. No damaging the things around you, no, hurting your allies. It's just, I missed, it's gone.
I feel like there might be some wiggle room from the DM on this one, because when you get a crit miss and you re-roll the attack on someone else, it's not that you're making another attack. It's still the same attack.
No, the wording says when you hit or miss your target, it vanishes.
Yeah.
So to me, it's there. The other side is from the option of the villain, or, the assassin who's attacking from concealment. You've got bodies that are turning up dead that looks like they've been felled by a crossbow bolt or, an arrow, but no ammunition is ever found at the scene. This could be like a really cool element of an artificer assassin that's, that's out there that, this could make it a lot harder to nail down what exactly is going on. No ballistics. I mean, not that there's really ballistics reports, but, that could be a tell and leading towards eventually, tracking this guy down. But a lot of fun things built into that one.
If you examine the corpse, there's no sign of it being removed. It's just gone, right? Mm-hmm. So that's an extra weird thing that could confuse someone, and is kind of cool. And so that part of it is interesting from the point of the assassin, and or the players are trying to figure out, why does this guy take his arrows with him or his crossbow bolts with him? What's going on? And then if they make the medicine check, they're like, oh, wait a minute. It's not getting pulled out. It's not getting cut out. I have no idea what happened here.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of mystery that can be wrapped around. So that one had to be on our list. The next one up is going to be the Spell Refueling Ring. This is a prerequisite Artificer level 6, and it needs to be a ring that requires attunement. While wearing this ring, the creature can recover 1 expended spell slot as an action. The recovered slot can be of 3rd level or lower. Once used, the ring can't be used again until the next dawn. I felt like artificers are not full casters, so anything that's going to allow them to get extra spells back, super useful, super awesome. Highly recommend that one.
Yeah, I agree. Anything that just gives you more of the thing you already do is good. Next up, we have the Mind Sharpener item. A suit or armor or robes doesn't require attunement, which is nice. The infused item can send a jolt to the wearer to refocus their mind. The item has 4 charges. When the wearer fails a Constitution saving throw to main concentration on a spell, the wearer can use the reaction to expend one of the item's charges to succeed. Instead, the item regains a D4 expended charges daily at dawn. Yeah, you know what? Losing a spell that you're concentrating on just sucks. And having to the opportunity to, it's not like Warcaster where you just roll with advantage or you spend your inspiration to get a reroll. No, it's like, nope, I'm just going to keep my concentration. Thank you very much.
And again, given that, that earlier conversation about not being full casters, every spell slot is, needed. You don't want to waste it. So having that thing to just be like, nope, I kept it, I'm good. And you get a D4 back, every day. So, like, it's pretty much a guaranteed. You can use it once a day and not really feel like anything is lost. And, worst case scenario, take 4 days off. It's full.
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff.
All right, so the next one that we put on our list is a big one. The Arcane Propulsion Armor, prerequisite 14th level, and it's got to be a suit of armor that requires attunement. The wearer of this armor gains a lot of benefits. The walking speed increased by 5 feet. The armor includes gauntlets, each of which is a magic melee weapon that can be wielded only when a hand is holding nothing. The wearer is proficient with the gauntlets, and each one deals 1d8 force damage on a hit and has the thrown property, with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. When thrown, the gauntlet detaches and flies at the target, then immediately returns to the wearer and reattaches. The armor can't be removed against the wearer's will. If the wearer is missing any limbs, the armor replaces those limbs, arms, hands, feet, legs, or similar appendages. The replacements function identical to the body parts they replace. Oh, I love this.
It's thematic. It's cool. If you want to have like something act as a prosthetic in your game, this definitely does that. If you just want to punch things and not be a monk, you can totally do that as well. If you want rocket-powered fists, yeah, you got those, which is really cool.
And, being a child in the 80s, like rocket-powered fists were super common in cartoon shows. And this is like a total harken back to that. I'm down for it. I love it. It's ridiculous, and some say very much outside the scope of what D&D does. But you know what? I'm absolutely here for it. If you're playing the character that's literally lost an arm, like it's literally built into like, nope, it doesn't reveal your hand as it flies off. Like you literally just can rocket powered fist punch and it comes back. Oh, I'm in heaven.
Well, not only that too, like I was just thinking about it. It's a weapon and it has the thrown property. That tells me that it's going to work with fighting styles. Mm-hmm. So if you take the thrown weapon fighting style, you can attack as a bonus action. It gives you bonuses to damage. Technically, you could use it with the dueling style because you're not holding a shield or a weapon in your other hand.
That is true, and it is a weapon.
So now, I don't know that dueling. I think dueling may only work with melee weapons, but still, whether you're punching or you're throwing, you could get a bonus to damage, and also other fighting styles would also work as well as long as you meet the specific requirements. It's a D8 weapon, so a battlesmith. I wanted to kind of like focus on this avenue and have armor and take this particular infusion. They could then either through multi-classing or through feats gain access to fighting styles and be even better. And not only that, for them, they get as long as it's considered magic, and I believe it is.
It is, yep.
They get to use their intelligence mod instead of their strength or dexterity.
Yeah, so you'd be able to use your intelligence modifier with it. You could absolutely then kind of like stack a further infusion on it and, turn it into, a +1 weapon or a +2 weapon if I recall correctly.
You can't. I don't think you can.
I can't infuse an infusion.
No. Well, you can't infuse. You can't infuse multiple multiple infusions into the same thing,
Ah.
and a suit of armor is generally considered one. The one caveat, and I have to double check, maybe you can let us know in the comments, I think the armor can break up their armor and infuse it in different places. So the armor might be able to do that, but they already got some pretty cool things going on. So, you know, rocket punching may not be all that great for them because they do have a version where they can do ranged attacks anyway.
All right, so what is our last one for the top 5?
Last is a biggie, and it's kind of a catch-all. It is replicate magic items, and essentially that's it. There are just certain magic items from, you know, the DMG that you can make with your infusions. You get access to a list at 2nd level, 6th level, 10th level, and 14th level, and it's a pretty comprehensive and big list. There is probably close to 40 magic items on this all told. So the reason why we picked this one is just because it's super versatile, and it's not like you just learn the specific infusion. You can learn different ones, I believe. So, you know, for it, you know, each time you do this and learn this infusion, you learn a particular magic item. But again, it just gives you a huge swath of things that you can learn. If you're a character without dark vision, Goggles of Night, always cool to have. So you don't have to worry about being the only person in the party that has to carry the torch.
So the fact that it is a catch-all, the fact that it has so many different options that you can look at, I mean, as Dave says, there's a lot of different choices. Wherever you feel your character or the party is lacking, it's like, oh, you need something to fill this niche? Boom, I got that. And just like, you know, one of the other powers, the Artificer, the right tool for the job, you've always got that ability to just be like, all right, let me think ahead, let me plan, or you know what, let me make a change so that I can do that next time. So there's a lot of really great things that are there. And it starts off with something, you know, as simple as like the alchemy jug or bag of holding, which are super great, you know, low-level things that right off the bat are helpful. But then if like you scroll all the way down to the bottom at like 14th level, you know, making a ring of free action, braces of defense, boots of levitation, belt of giant strength, like amulet of health, these are all like fabulous magic items that are absolutely handy. And it's not necessarily just something for you. You can be like, boom, I'm gonna make this item and I'm gonna give it to you. So you really have got the ability to help out the party. And therefore, I think honestly, replicate magic item has got to be, because it's so versatile, the best of all of them.
Yeah, on the list, because it's going to fit into any particular niche that you're trying to fill with your particular character. There's probably something on there for you. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, just in the sense of, we said there's 16 infusions. Well, without Replicate Magic, there's basically 15. But with Replicate Magic, it's more like there's like 50-some, right? 60-some. It just does as a ton of versatility and options to the Artificer. Let us know what your favorite infusion is for the Artificer. Did we hit it? Did we miss it? Let us know down in the comments below.
While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, even go ahead and attune to that notification bell so you don't miss a single video.
Quick reminder, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we drop new videos here on the channel, so come on back. But you can't wait till then? No worries, we've got you covered. Up here you can find a card for the top 5 Artificer Tier 1 spells.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.